Hey, welcome everybody. It is 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Time for Sci-Fi Distill. Welcome back, Mary Beth. How are you?
Hello, hello. How goes it?
I'm just trying to stay warm with this weather. It's January. What do we
You
say?
got a
It's
little
January
snowy
40th.
tonight. January 52nd.
So it sounds like it's just it keeps January just doesn't end.
It doesn't end, but it is finally coming
It
to an
will
end.
end Saturday, finally.
Yes, it will
Yes.
end
And it's not a leap year, so we don't
Yeah,
even have to
so
worry
we'll
about
have a
February.
nice long February, I guess. I don't know.
So we are doing for the first time. We're going to do a top 10 of Star Trek something. I stole this idea from the Trexperts. Sorry, Darren and Mark and
Ashley.
Ashley. Thank you. I don't know why I always forget his name. So I am totally ripping you off.
But they do 10 by 10, which kind of makes me
They
slightly
do.
like,
They do. They do. Yeah, they do all of
I literally
running
told
up to the
Darren, don't do it.
holidays. They do
Don't do the
like
10 by 10.
10 episodes that are top tens, and yeah, it's a lot, a lot. So, hey Jeff and Dave, thank you for joining us. Christopher, of course, thanks. Bill, thanks for joining us. Always good to
Hi,
see you guys.
guys. Hi, Sue.
So, before we get into what we think, and these, let me just say this first. These are what we kind of thought were our picks. This is not a definitive list by any means.
Oh, God, no. No, no,
It's
no.
just what we think. So you
Feel
guys
free to
can
disagree.
can disagree, and you can put your disagreements in the comments. But before we do that, we have news.
We have a little bit of news, and I am happy to hear your opinions on the news tonight. I have 4 items. News item number 1, we are still waiting for Resident Alien Season 4, which is filming now. But in the meantime, Season 3 is coming to Netflix. Season 3 is coming to Netflix on February 13th. And side note, I don't know if Alex is watching, but Supernatural fans, which is me and Alex, Supernatural is leaving Netflix later at the end of the year, so that's not good. News item number 2, if you loved the Addams Family spinoff Wednesday, which I did, Netflix promises, and this is a big promise, but Netflix promises Wednesday season 2 will be an epic hit, saying they expect to see fans flooding social media with positive reactions. That's really going out on a limb.
Yeah, it's almost like you're asking for the opposite to happen. Like,
Exactly.
it's not in today's, especially with today's social media.
I completely agree. I don't know why they're doing it. They even touted that it will garner massive social media engagement on a recent quarterly earnings call, which I know they do talk about the shows on the calls, but that's just weird. The marketing for season 2 has started up. I've seen some behind the scenes shots on social media, but there is no word yet on when we can expect it. Like, they haven't given us a date, a month, a season, like nothing. But they're saying, oh yeah, it's gonna be so great. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. To me, that's
Yeah, it was a
weird.
great show. I loved it. I thought it was a great spinoff. I thought,
Yeah, I did too.
the cast was great. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. So I hope they continue. Maybe we'll get Stranger Things final season before the kids are out of college and have grandchildren. I don't know. I mean, they're gotta be so old now. I mean, when was the last Stranger Things? It was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It seemed like it was forever. I don't know when it was, but it was like forever ago.
I gotta tell you, I don't like these big gaps. I don't.
No, it's like, HBO pulled it with Game of Thrones, where we went like a year and a half, and then we got
they did that with The Sopranos. Remember?
Yeah, The Sopranos had there was some big gaps. You're right.
It was one of the first series that had a massive gap.
At least with Sopranos, you got like 13 episodes.
Yeah. They were closer. They weren't up to 22 episodes, but they were closer.
Yeah, they were. It's slowly. Now we're down to, I think, what was the I just watched American Primeval, which is a Western on Netflix. Pretty good. And I believe our friend Liz Klaus, I can't ever pronounce her last name.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
I'm talking about from Picard. I think she worked on that. So it was good. If you like very dark kind of Western, not a positive.
American Primeval, it's not based on that British show Primeval where they ran around fighting dinosaurs, did they?
No. This is real. It's docu history or whatever. Not, and it's about the Mormons and Brigham Young a little in a bit, and just that whole move west. It's not. It's historically accurate, I suppose, but it's not fantasy. It's not sci-fi anyway. All right, not a bad show.
All right, maybe I'll check it out. All right, guys. News item number 3. Marvel. Marvel, what are you doing, Marvel? Do you guys not remember that last year we talked about superhero fatigue or the genre fatigue, whatever? Marvel has 6, count them, 6 new shows coming to Disney Plus this year. That's 3 live action and 3 animated. One of the animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, starts streaming January 29. That's today. It has also had, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has had the very, very unusual green light for 3 seasons. They've already been green light for 3 seasons, and they just debuted today, which kind of blows my mind.
They're banking on Spider-Man's popularity. He's always been probably their most popular single superhero, I think.
I guess, but this is going to be Spider-Man as a kid, so I don't know, man. It's the only MCU project to ever get a 3-season greenlight. Daredevil got a 2-season greenlight, but okay, whatever. The other animated series are Eyes of Wakanda and Marvel Zombies, which, and over on the live action side, Daredevil Born Again kicks off March 4, and like I said, it has season 2 already. Ironheart is going to be in June, and Wonder Man? Yeah, Wonder Man will be in December. I don't know, man. Of those 6, I feel like Spider-Man might be okay. Daredevil might be okay. The other 4 are going to tank. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I have been watching, I don't know if you watched it. I have been watching the new one. I think it's on HBO Max, the Creature Commandos, which is a DC.
Oh, how is it?
It's not bad. It's quirky. It's a lot like what's the other one on Prime? The Dungeons and Dragons Vox.
Vox Machina. I like Vox Machina,
which is good. So it's kind of along that vein. It does have our good friend Alan Tudyk voicing one of the characters. So right there makes it good. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. I think there's only 6 in the first season, 6, 8, whatever it is. So it's not bad. It's different for DC. Let's put it that way. It's not. There's no typical DC superheroes currently in this show, so no Superman or anything like that. Anyway,
I like different.
It's something to watch.
Something to watch, which we all need something to watch. News item and last news item number 4 in my very sporadic segment. I watched it, so you don't have to. I don't even know where to start with this one. I watched it. I watched Section 31, and my review is, oh God, you don't have to run away. Abort mission. Abort
honestly, if you haven't watched it, don't watch it.
I don't know what you really.
If you're super bored and you just feel like watching a train wreck.
It is kind of a train wreck. It's really fluffy. It's light. It's shallow. Like, it's really shallow. There's no.
Well, it doesn't even know. Like it was like all over the place.
Yeah.
It wasn't even just that the story was stupid. It wasn't just that it was the characters were just very one-dimensional and uninteresting and just didn't fit the universe at all.
No.
And then there was the video editing of some of the scenes were just like, it was like, what is this, a music video? It was just, I don't know. It was very chaotic. I felt bad for Michelle Yeoh. I love Michelle Yeoh, and she wasn't good in this. I didn't think
Michelle was good in the male lead. I can't think of either his character name or the guy's name, the black guy. He was amazing. I'm going to say that both those actors.
He was. Did you ever watch Veep, the HBO show about
the? Oh, was he on Veep?
He was on Veep, and he played kind of a goofy, smart but goofy guy, and he was that character, and I kind of kept seeing that character.
Oh, really?
In him.
Oh my God!
What I thought was he was kind of okay. I thought
he was just discount Common. Like, you know how Common is on Silo.
The Vulcan robot was stupid, was just dumb.
No,
that whole
robot
thing.
was stupid.
What was that creature? We never saw this before. The little tiny guy that
it was somebody watched Men in Black and thought, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that. It was so stupid.
It's like so stupid.
But Michelle and the lead guy, they were doing.
Why do you have a Vulcan with an Irish accent?
Yes, the Vulcan had an Irish accent, and not a particularly good Irish accent. If you watch Trek Culture, which is hosted by Sean Ferrick, who's Irish, he's like,
it was just horrible. It was just horrible.
That's not how we talk.
And the other thing is, these guys are supposed to be top-notch Section 31 agents, right? They're supposed to be the cream of the crop, where they're top agents. And Michelle Yeoh goes for the bar and picks them all off, picks them out instantly. that she knew they were all agents. Like, I'm like, well, you're not very good at your job.
It had an Ocean's 11, or not Ocean's 11, but one of those, like,
yeah, they were trying to do this, like, it was partly a,
we
well, the other thing
introduced
was
this
the
guy
MacGuffin of the, no, sorry, there's
the
all kinds of
device.
spoilers here if you really want to
The
watch.
Godsend. It was called the Godsend.
Yeah, the Godsend. Is it Godsend or is it Gods?
Is it God's End?
That was
Or
so
Godsend.
But I mean, okay, so they never really explain what it does. Is it some kind of explosive device? Is it biological?
Is
or
it like
whatever.
the Omega whatever in Galaxy
And they're
Quest, where it
like,
turns
they
into
never
that, but they're-
explain like much about it.
Mm-mm.
And
But
then,
we're supposed to be afraid of it.
they're all worried about it being set off, but apparently Giorgio's the only one that could
Schwarzenegger.
actually activate it. So it was like the whole thing. And then when they use it to blow up a rift or something, and that's all it does. It doesn't actually do. It was kind of like anticlimactic. It was supposed to like jump from system to system, whatever it was, and cause all this chaos. And
exactly.
it was really dumb. It was
Not
just
a heist movie.
badly written, badly cast. It was just awful. And
Yeah.
I haven't heard one. I take it back. On some of the social media, I've heard a few people, I liked it.
No,
But
I mean,
it's overwhelmingly, it's bad. It's bad.
they tried real hard with costumes, I guess.
They're like,
that's
people are
the best
saying
I can
with
say.
Star Trek. I think it was, what's the guy? There's the guy that does the drunken reviews.
Oh yeah, Dave Cullen.
No, there's another guy that does. He's
the critical drinker.
The critical drinker. And he was just like, they've hit rock bottom, and I'm like, oh no, Paramount's like, hold my beer, because I think they could go lower.
Oh god, yeah.
He's like, it only looks up from here. I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking if Kurtzman's still at the helm of any more Star Trek projects, it's gonna still stink.
Not good.
So sorry, I'm not even sugarcoating anymore. It's just been awful.
If lately. Bruce and Nick, if you guys watch it, report back. I would love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, if you guys, somebody liked it and watched it, I'm sorry if we're like ripping your favorite movie apart now, but
Jeff Rubel says it had a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Yeah, if that's too high, even it should be like a 0.17%. 0.7. Yeah, it was pretty. Even if you don't like Discovery, because of course it's that universe, it's bad. It's bad even on a Disco level. Like even for Discovery universe,
it didn't even reach Discovery level.
It was even worse for that. So.
And it was written by the same people. However, one single defense that I thought, okay, that may be true, is it was originally supposed to be a series, and they think they took each episode
the whole thing and jammed it into one thing.
Like, did you notice how there was those title cards and it would say whatever the hell the title card said?
Maybe that was the point, but
that was each episode.
It didn't work because it was just it was chaotic.
Are there any bagels? No, there are no bagels that I'm aware of in it. There was just some strange stuff. There was like a mech boy. Oh, and then there was Rachel Garrett. Like,
yeah, they stuck her, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's the greatest thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, but she didn't really." I mean, I don't know why people got so whipped up about Rachel Garrett. We saw her.
She was a pain in the ass, and she was running around in the.
She was like the Boimler of the whole thing, where she was trying to do the right, because she was the only Starfleet. I'm Starfleet.
That's not the Rachel Garrett we met on Next Gen.
Well, I mean, she's much younger. She was only a lieutenant or an ensign or something.
The one interesting character was the Delton. They killed her right off the bat. Oh, sorry, spoiler. Yeah, don't get too attached to the Delton. Beautiful girl, but didn't last long.
Yeah, I just felt the characters were all very one-dimensional.
They were all one-dimensional,
and just not. They were like, what was the guy with the mech suit? What the hell was? What was that?
I am the suit, and the suit is me.
What is this? Something out of like you're trying to like pull something from? I don't even know.
Sorry, Bruce. I actually knew.
Yes, we told you there was going to be spoilers, so just stick your fingers in your ear and go la 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 until we say we're done.
I knew the actor made up a backstory for him that made sense why he loved the suit. Now I don't remember what it was. It was actually
it was like Halo or something meets Star Trek.
Yes, it was like he was Halo running around in a big mech suit, just tomp.
It was stupid. It's so not Star Trek because we've never seen anything like that in Star Trek.
There was the alien from Men in Black. There was the Delton. There was Discount D.L. Hughley. Not D.L. Who's that guy? There's that guy. There's Discount Common. There was Rachel Garrett.
Common. I thought it was Common at first.
I thought it was Common at first too.
That's not Common, is it? It's not him. It's So
And
anyway.
then there was Michelle Yeoh desperately trying to hold it all together. Oh, and the bad guy, the one bad guy they caught who had it, like, what was he? Like, oh, the whole thing
the
was
whole
just a mess.
opening scene with her murdering her own family was so bizarre and dark and not, I don't know. It's just enough of that. We're done. We're
Somebody
done.
else
You can take your ears out of
Somebody
your
else
face.
watch it
Take your
and then
ears out of your
explain it
mouth.
to me, because
Yeah.
clearly I didn't understand it. All right,
So,
Rizzo,
Star Trek
we
by
do
Chima.
not actually have a drink tonight, do we?
No drink tonight. Sorry, guys. I was too busy this work this week and getting all everything together for this episode. So it slipped my mind. Sorry. So it's whatever you want it to be.
I've got Kool-Aid.
So,
Not Kool-Aid.
anyway,
Crystal Light.
so shall we start? We're gonna go, of course,
Let's do it.
number 10 to 1. So at number 10. Now, man, let me wait. Let me lay a little groundwork. We kind of went back and forth between the two of us. These are our picks. There is not a definitive list of ships, and the ships weren't just based on, oh, this one looks cool. It also, I think, to me at least, how they fit into the universe of Star Trek and their cool factor. So there was kind of a, but again, you may differ. So at number, I gotta get my list out here. Hold on a second, because I forgot what was at number 10 already. Oh, right. At number 10. Let me find it here. We got the USS Reliant. Of course, this was ultimately became Khan's ship in the Wrath of Khan. I've always loved this class. This is the Miranda class. I thought this was one of the cooler early Star Trek ships. Because remember, before, when we had just the original series and the movies, we didn't have that many ships. They were either the Constitution class.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, we are not doing none of these are Enterprise, okay, or a version of
these are
Enterprise.
ships that are
these
not
all just not
Enterprise.
So you're not going to see Enterprise anywhere in here. So this was one of the first ones we kind of saw that was, other than the books that people, that were not really canon, there were different ship designs. But really, this is one of the first Starfleet ship designs that we saw on screen that was not a Constitution class. Exactly. And I think it was a brilliant design. I love it. I think it works so well in the universe, and it's a kick-ass little ship. So thoughts? Yes. What are your thoughts on Reliant?
So this is the one that was Captain Terrell, and his first officer at the time. Yeah, that's right. His first officer at the time was Chekhov, right?
Chekhov, right.
Right. And they go down to get things put in their ears. This was also the ship that I believe Carol Marcus and David Marcus had use of.
Yes.
When they were running around doing whatever the hell they were doing, getting ready for Genesis.
Well, that's what they were doing. That's what Reliant was doing, and that's how they ended up on the Alpha 5, where they thought you thought this was anyway. Yeah. And so that they were tasked to find a planet to test Genesis on, a dead planet. Exactly. So that was just a dead world, and maybe it's something we can transplant. Something we can transplant. There can't be so much as a microbe, or the deal's off.
Oh, I remember that part. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, Rizzo, I completely agree with you. It is our first ship that we see, like the whole ship from the outside is different. We're like, oh, cool new ship. But then also when we see the bridge, because we see Khan on the bridge, it's recognizable. It's still, they still got the center console and the helm and the navigation, and it's very recognizable. They do what Star Wars does well. They kept it all looking like it looked like Star Trek. You know what I mean? Right.
It fit the universe. The nacelles fit what the Enterprise refit had. I just like it. I always thought it was like a plucky little good design.
Yes.
And it has kind of transcended through because we keep seeing this sort of design. Even the Cerritos is kind of very similar to this design.
The Cerritos, and they're kind of NX-01.
A little different. It's a little different. Yeah. The nacelles hang different from it, but
yeah.
But it also it kicked the Enterprise's butt. Now, granted, Kirk didn't put the shields up, but
that's true. I'm just looking through the Wiki Alpha to see who designed this thing, but I'm not immediately.
Do not know who designed it. If anybody does know,
if anybody knows who designed it, please let us know.
Yeah, but we saw this design even in TNG. There was a version of it, of the Miranda class.
Yes, of the Miranda class.
The little, I think it was with the torpedo launchers up top on that little hoop, the roll bar as I call it.
Yeah.
But I think they had a little different. That was different, but it was Miranda class.
Yeah.
So Anyway, yeah. So I really like this ship. I don't know what else to talk
Jeff
about.
says the Reliant is brilliant. They flipped the Enterprise upside down and took out the secondary hull. They kind of did. He's not wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's almost like a kit bash. I mean, clearly, because again, I remember we didn't see a lot of Starfleet, so we're definitely seeing that Starfleet is sticking with the saucer as their main.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think everything we chose tonight has the traditional round saucer. I gotta say that I love when they go with the more arrowhead saucer too.
Not all of them.
Oh, not all.
And by the way, these guys, we're not doing all Starfleet ships. We're doing ships from all different bases.
Yeah. All over the world,
different things. So these are just, again, not a definitive.
Yeah, list, Bill, one big happy fleet. Yeah, that's where the flag comes from. We the Reliant. We're just one big.
Learn how things work on a starship.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on.
Sorry. All right. Coming in at number 9.
Number 9.
I gotta find it here in my little list here. Sorry. Is the USS Cerritos. Again, very similar design. But I mean, this ship is just, I love it. It's a cool little ship. It kind of dope, but it does Cali class. It does. One of the things I think I like about it is it says it's definitely a Starfleet ship. There's no question about it. But yet it kind of says, yeah, this is not a Constitution class. This is not a flagship vessel.
No,
it's kind of a workhorse
clearly
vessel.
Second contact.
Second contact. and I think the show has proven it. I don't know if it's so much the design I like or just that they love the show and you fall in love just like we did with.
You know what, Rizzo? When you made me make my list too, I put Cerritos on my list and I was like, why do I really like it though? And I was like, I don't know. I just love Laura.
There's really nothing super special about it.
It's not, but it's plucky. You know what? It's like the Reliant. It's plucky. Like in that opening segment, it gets into so much trouble and then it recovers, Like in their opening credits.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the love of the show. I've been rewatching it and I pick up now that I'm getting through it on a second. It's so funny because I see how they connected things later on down, like seasons later. Things that I missed the connection that they mentioned way back in like the first or second season, but then you're seeing them again come resurfaced in the third and fourth season. So it was very cleverly written. It's sad that it's gone, that it's not going to get any more seasons. I would tell people though, if you liked this show, go and rewatch it as much as you can on Paramount, because that's how they gauge.
Drive the numbers up.
They gauge a popularity of it's not just whether it got watched once, it's how many times it gets rewatched. So I'm rewatching it until I dump Paramount, which is going to be soon because there's nothing on there currently that I want to watch.
Yeah. You know what else I liked about the Cerritos is it gave us little glimpses into things that other ships didn't. For example, we got to see how the holodeck gets cleaned. We got to see how these guys are all sleeping in these hallways, like stacked in bunks. We got to see there are a few other things that they did on this ship. Oh, we saw Rutherford and Tendi climbing in the Jeffries tube, like laying on each other to fix stuff. Like you got to see stuff on the Cerritos that you don't get to see at any other ship.
That was one of the funniest things from Lower Decks was when they got to go, like one of the crappiest jobs that the Lower Deckers gets is to clean the biofilter out of the holodeck, which is like, you guys can read into that what that entails and why there's a biofilter.
Bruce says, why are the nacelles so bright? I don't know, Bruce. I don't know, but they blink out when they hit that. That
was funny because that's when Boimler got promoted, he got his own cabin. And
that's right.
One of them was like right next to the nacelle there, looked right down on it and was blowing out. It's like that Seinfeld episode with Kramer in the red light. And then of course at the end, Rutherford just goes in there and goes, "Oh, well, you just tell it to put the filter in or something, and it changes."
Yeah, and he just dims it or whatever. Yeah,
dims it right out.
Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, Bill's saying we should have kept Lower Decks and not done Section 31. Yeah, Bill, I gotta say I agree with that.
I mean, any show, and before it even airs, I'm gonna say they should have kept Lower Decks and not do Starfleet Academy.
Yeah,
because we're gonna wait for that disaster to drop.
I agree. I have good concerns. I've got grave concerns about Starfleet.
No, I'm just reading what some people are saying.
Yeah, Nick is the shape. I'm just talking about the saucer section. Like they keep it circular. I also enjoy when they make it kind of arrowhead triangular. There's only just a couple ships like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back, they had the ones, the Daedalus class that had basically a ball. It was a ball.
It was a ball, yeah.
Yeah,
if you
a
really
ball
want
and
to
a
see
cylinder, and then the cells. It was basically
exactly. It was.
Yeah.
If you want to see some different ships, check out Star Trek Online, the online game.
Yeah,
We've
they
got
have a lot,
all kinds of cool ships, like but I chose not to include any of those because
no, it's not.
Unless you play the game, you're not going to know. I wanted ships from the shows that you guys would all know and recognize. So
yeah, and
all right, let's move on.
We want all these ships are canon. There's no
all these ships are canon. Yeah,
stuff in the game. Some of it is not
exactly.
Yeah. So the next one is number 8. This one might be some controversial, but this is the Jem'Hadar fighter. And this is one of my picks, actually. And I always like this ship. And I like this ship just on the cool factor. It looks like an Egyptian scarab to me.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like a bug or a beetle. And I don't know why I like this. And I think the whole arc of DS9 and the war, it's fighters we had never really seen in Star Trek. Individual
and attack. These are attack ships.
They're always capital ships, and they were never had small. So it was interesting to see fighters for a change. I know that we saw them like in some of the TNG episodes with the one with the cadets. They had the one where Wesley gets court-martialed there for getting the kid
I know exactly.
Those are small fighters, so we do know that Starfleet had them, but we never really saw them. And we did see this one in the Jem'Hadar, and I thought the Jem'Hadar as a race were kind of cool race, and that they were kind of a slave race, but yet they were also warrior race at the same time. It just inflated.
Yeah, Bill is saying one of these. You go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Bill is saying one of these took out a Galaxy class. Yeah, these things did outgun smaller Starfleet ships.
They were very powerful.
They were pretty well gunned.
Yeah, all the Jem'Hadar ships actually were at the beginning of the war were more powerful than anything Starfleet had. They pretty much could put a whooping easily on.
Yeah, they probably could. But one thing Starfleet, or at least, sorry, not Starfleet. The one thing the show creators never really is like, you never really. I mean, you kind of did in Deep Space Nine, I guess, but we never saw a lot of like you know how we saw Cylons and what's their names on Battlestar Galactica. Like we didn't see a lot of that. We saw a little bit in Deep Space Nine, but we never did a lot of ship-to-ship combat. So we never worried about maneuverability and fast stuff, and you know, it was never heavy in the Star Trek storylines. But
and that's you'll talk about like Doug. For years, he always says, they always look at the ships as if ships on a lake. Like these big, just slow moving. Kind of, nothing fast and like you said, like we saw in the newer Battlestar where we saw the flips and the faster fighting, and I think we got a little bit with this. We started to see that too in DS9 in their space battles. We saw some of it in the Battle of Wolf 359 too in TNG. There was quite a bit of maneuvering there, but for the most part, the ships were always kind of lumbering. They're always capital ship battles. That remind you of the old sea battles where they would kind of just pull up next to each other and blast at each other. So one of them.
That was, from original series and Next Gen, that was the modus operandi.
Yeah, it was just like they really would just kind of fly around in circles and shoot at each other. There really wasn't a lot of, they would say evasive maneuvers, but it's like,
which is probably why I love Battlestar Galactica, because it was so cool to watch them in the
chaotic, which is really what a battle is.
What are those ships called? I can't think of them.
What? The Vipers?
What do they fly on Battlestar?
Vipers.
Viper. Yes, sorry. I couldn't think of the word Viper. I like, and X-Wings, like even X-Wings, like there's ship-to-ship combat.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Vipers did fly more realistically because they would do that flip around and fire backwards.
Flip around and fire backwards.
They would use momentum and stuff, whereas the X-Wings flew like fighters in the air. But again, Star Wars is not, there's nothing scientific about Star Wars. So.
No, I suppose not.
All right, so that was number 8. I don't know who designed this, but this kind of makes me think it's a John Eves design. I don't know why.
It could be. I don't know.
It has his feel to it for me.
I need to get off memory off because it's not telling me. Or if it is telling me, I don't know where to look.
All right, so moving on to number 7. No. This one's going to be another controversial one. This is one of my favorites. Was the NX-01 shuttle pod, and I liked it the best because I thought it was one of the more realistic. I mean, I don't know. Realistic is kind of relative because, like, where are the engine? The engines are very small on this, but it wasn't. No, this is not a warp capable vessel. It was strictly because they didn't really have the transporters were still new. This is, of course, from Star Trek Enterprise. So the shuttles were their only conveyance generally from to and from the ship to the planets and whatever. So they use these shuttle pods. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool, little simple. It was a simple design like the original shuttle, but yet it had kind of a feel. It was tiny. You could get maybe 4, 6 people, I think, max inside the thing. But one of the things I think that made me really fall in love with this, there's a great episode from Enterprise called Shuttle Pod 1. And it was one of the better episodes, one of the higher rated episodes, where Trip and the why can't I think of his name there? Dominic Keating is the actor.
Yeah.
Reed
Dominic Keating.
are they think they're stranded, they're gonna die, and there's no hope because they think the Enterprise NX-01 has been destroyed, and they were out there when they came back from to find wreckage, which turned out to not be the Enterprise, but so it's kind of their journey as them thinking they're going to die in the shuttle pod in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, I don't know. I like it. Mary Beth, you didn't really have an opinion on this one, so
I did not have an opinion on this one, but there's going to be another shuttlecraft coming up on our list that I did have an opinion on.
No spoilers.
Yeah. This was a solid little service, like a solid little service vehicle. You know, I mean, it did its job. But that's the thing, and we'll talk about this when we get to the next shuttlecraft on the list. They don't have a lot of defense. They don't have any offense. They're just get you down to the planet and get you back up again.
Yep. There was that scene. I think that was the beginning of season 4, Bill, where they end up.
This one does have a nice shape, though. Like, I like it.
I don't know. In fact, and again, the actual physical shuttle that they used on the show was up for sale relatively recent. I don't know who bought it,
really?
how much it went for, but I mean, you had to have one place to put it. But
I like the way this one.
It's cool to have, I think.
The front end looks like a commercial aircraft.
Again, that's what the beauty of Enterprise was. You still had that kind of that connection to what we currently have as spacecraft and aircraft, and then what Star Trek had. You know what I'm saying? It was that transition. So we see those two things kind of mixing together.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things I really liked about Enterprise. I loved the design.
And which Doug has told us they worked very hard to infuse that transition, that evolution in throughout the show.
Absolutely.
If only it had kept going.
This was one of my faves. So, yep.
Good choice. Good choice.
I bought the model. I have the little one around here somewhere. But okay, moving on. That was 7. So we are up to 6 already. Boy,
6.
Cranking through this. Where's my number 6? Where are you, 6? There it is. And of course, it's the good old Galileo shuttlecraft.
Hello, Galileo. I am the one who asked for the Galileo.
We did ask for this one, although it was definitely on my radar. Of course, we love this design. It's so simple and yet worked so well.
Boxy, but still.
Yeah, and we all know why it was built that way, because Revell, the model company, actually designed this for the show. The original one that Matt had designed, and I wish I had grabbed a picture of it, is very cool also, but it would have been very expensive to make.
Yeah,
it was all rounded with nacelles that hung down, and really cool looking design. If you ever look up Matt Jeffries' shuttle design, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This one was actually made by the model company to do this, and so, but it works so well. And again, we see now, if you look back to the NX-01, we see it has little stubby wings for air travel. We don't see that on here. There's those little above the nacelle, but again, because technology had gotten better and they didn't need to have aerodynamic flight in an atmosphere, because they had propulsor lifts and other things of science that would keep it off the ground, so to speak. So or in the air. So, and of course, this is one of those things that's like a TARDIS, because the set that they used for the interior was a lot bigger than the actual.
Yes. If you guys remember the episode Galileo 7,
The thing was a gymnasium inside.
it was there was seating down. It's all seven of them could sit. I don't think there's an extra chair or not, but yeah, and they sat down. There's like a center aisle. Yeah, Jeffrey will say it's boxy, made by Volvo. Yeah, it is kind of the Volvo of shuttlecraft. But and again, this is another one. No offense, no defense, but a good, solid service vehicle. And you just, I don't know, you just think of Galileo 7 and you can't help it.
We got to see some good parts of it, like in the one with the companion with
oh yeah, can't think of it.
What's the name of the episode? Somebody help me out. You know what I'm talking about with Nephron Cochrane there. Metamorphosis, I think it is called.
Maybe Metamorphosis.
We got to see the back of the ship, and Spock, remember, working on it. And we got to see some of that stuff, little bits and pieces and stuff. If James ever gets this one available to the public, because it is the actual shuttle is in Thai, and I got to, when it arrived, I was able to go up to it and stick my head in the door, and it is very much smaller inside than it is on the set. I mean, that was a totally separate set. This was just for them getting out, and then any parts they needed to do, which was mostly on that episode. I think is when we saw it the most on the outside, and probably Galileo 7. I don't know what other episodes it might have been used on other than those.
I'm just looking. I mean,
where we actually saw it, that it wasn't just flying somewhere, that we actually saw them get in and out of it.
Maybe Babylon, because I think his parents arrived on one.
I think it might have been in the shuttle bay, but we really didn't see it like
you don't see it
like them in and getting it out. Oh well, a little bit in Menagerie.
Yeah, maybe Menagerie.
It wasn't this shuttle; it was a different.
It's
shuttle.
not like maybe Wade and Eden, Way to Eden.
Way
Sue coming stuck on the planet. Yeah, no de-icer available. Yeah, I mean this shuttlecraft and maybe even the shuttle pod, they're not like, remember in Next Generation, Geordi goes somewhere and he's like kicking back, he has a drink, he has his feet up, he's playing music, he's playing a game with it, like and it's got like leather bucket seats and like interior carpeting. No, these two shuttlecraft are not like that at all. These are like the bare stripped down bare essentials.
Yeah, the Galileo, this class of shuttle is warp capable, whereas the Shuttle Pod 1 was not. Yeah, and you're right. In DNG, they had the one that was like basically it looked like a two-seater. It was like a little sports car shuttle, the little tiny round ones, and then they had the bigger ones. They had the bigger ones too. One of the coolest ones, and I almost included in this list, is the Aqua shuttle from the animated series.
Oh.
Which is
I can't think of it right off the top.
Yeah, it was supposed to go underwater, so it was pretty cool. So yeah, we love the Galileo. Hopefully, I'm hoping James figures something out and is able to get it set up so that everybody can see it and enjoy it and in its restored glory. Of course, it's had the original prop had a long history of sitting in a junkyard for many years.
For a while, but then it got to go to NASA for a bit.
Well, once it got restored, and when it was found and they purchased it and restored it, then it was at NASA. But somebody was saying there's not much left of the original. They had to replace because so much of the wood was just rotted because it had sat outside. So like there's a frame in there. It's fairly heavy. So there's parts to it that are the original.
Is it basically plywood or?
Yeah, it was plywood and metal frame, I think.
Okay.
There's a landing gear in the rear, which you can't see in this picture. Actually, is actually landing gear off a real aircraft. They don't know what aircraft it was, but it's very heavy, and it was still inside the thing. They take it apart. So they took some bits and pieces from what they could find, and Matt Jeffries, of course, loving aviation, use that as a landing gear. So. Yeah, it's a neat design. Even in the interior, like it's just very simple. You have the two seats, kind of the navigation console, and these like sort of round viewer things that kind of come out.
But again, it's super bare bones. By Deep Space Nine, there are mini apartments in there.
Oh yeah. Well, their Deep Space Nines were runabouts. The runabouts were much bigger. And
Yeah, runabouts were, yeah.
Runabouts, yeah, they were much bigger. And, you know, I kind of regret not putting them on this list somewhere too, because that is a very cool ship that I didn't even think of. So I'm going to apologize to runabouts because they should be.
Sorry, runabouts.
Sorry, runabouts.
You
So
deserve
anyway,
your
moving on. Let's move on. This next one is number 5. Where are you, number 5? A modern one, the USS Shenzhou. I think, and I knew you were talking like this should have been the ship that was more focused on in Discovery and not Discovery. This is a John
Look at it.
design.
Look at that ship.
Yeah, this is a Johnny's design. This is one of the most brilliant. I love this ship. I think it's great. It's probably one of the best things to come out of Discovery. And it's neat because the bridge is this was a new neat design. The bridge is underneath. It's a low slung bridge. So instead of being on top where they all were, it's underneath.
Yeah.
Which is really cool design.
Cool, different.
And because there's no up and down in space, why can't it be down there?
Yeah, why shouldn't it be? Which would make more sense because, you know, little protection in case you're getting fired on from top, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean it's a great, I love the way he did the deflector dish kind of worked into, and that's very kind of reminiscent of NX-01.
Yes.
If you remember, if you look at NX-01, if you look at the front, it has a little tiny rectangular sort of shaped deflector dish that's built into the saucer.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of reminiscent of this big one. And this was supposed to be added at the time in the show, an older design. It was an older ship. It was not new like Discovery was.
I mean,
so
we saw
it talk about Enterprise upside down. You're right. It clearly is it has that feel to it. Which, you know, why not?
Yeah, why not? This was Philippa Georgiou's ship. We saw it in the Vulcan Hello in Battle at Binary Stars. And yeah, I actually admitted to Rizzo that I kind of wished instead of the disc, because the disco kind of bent my brain a little bit, especially in the later episodes when it had detached nacelles. I didn't know how I felt about the disco. I kind of wish this had been the star of the show.
Yeah, I never really was a big fan. I know the disco ship was kind of modeled after what they were going to redo the Enterprise too. And then the pizza cutter saucer thing, I never really got what the point of having.
Yeah, it spun.
For what reason?
The saucer spun this way, and then the whole ship spun on axis.
Yeah,
it flipped this way to make the jump.
Phil saying make this a panel at Ticonderoga. That would be up to the boss there. I don't mind. I just get told you're going to do a talk about this, and then I have to figure out how to talk about it. And then Star Trek, Star Trek people show up in my thing and hide in the back, and then tell them.
And then Dave Blass walks in.
Dave Blass hiding in the back of my Picard talk that I knew nothing about, really.
Oh, that's awesome. Bruce is saying he likes the red. Yeah, you know what? Finally,
the red is different, and that's true. That's a different. Yeah, having it even paint on there to begin with, it looks good. I don't know. I like this ship.
I like it too.
Just this one was picked strictly on a cool factor, I think. And I'm a big fan of John Eves' designs, and I did get to talk to him for quite a bit at this last Star Trek Las Vegas last July. I was there and he was there, and we just ended up shooting the crap about stuff. He had some pictures, lithographs he did of the Phoenix, and I had him sign that because I thought that was another one of my faves, so that he did. So we just got to talking, and he's a really super nice guy if you ever get to meet him, by the way. So he's at Star Trek Las Vegas a lot.
We've been trying to get him to the set tour for a while now.
He would be a great one. Yeah.
Make the connection.
Yeah, can't quite do it. It's not easy for people to get to.
No.
So okay, moving on. Number 4.
We're in a 4 or 5.
That was 5.
That was 5.
We are now up to 5. Let me find
Top
5. Where are you? 5. Did I not upload 5? Uh-oh. Okay, talk about yourself while I see if I can do this.
I've got for number 5. Should I say what it is?
No, let me see. Go ahead and just come up with. Let's talk about internal combustion.
Let's go back to Trek Ticonderoga. You guys want to do ships on Trek Ticonderoga, really, or just a top 10 in general? We could do a top 10, whatever. If I've got Rizzo, if he's not going to go do Dirt Days, we'll do top 10, whatever.
I will be there. I'll probably have to split it. That's the one.
There we go. There's
I
number.
guess I did upload it. It was hiding. So this
Look
is
at
the
that bird
Romulan
feet.
warbird, or from the original series. This was another brilliant design. This isn't a really great angle. The top is actually cool too, but you gotta have the bird of prey at the bottom. I never even noticed now that I look at it. It had the little feet, the bird's claws.
Yeah, it's got all of it.
It wasn't just the
So
wings.
this is Romulan, right? This is the Tallis.
This is a Tallis class, I believe is what they call it, at least on Star Trek Online, they call it Tallis class. The weird thing about this ship, although I loved it at the time, and again, it was one of the few times we got to see a ship that wasn't Constitution class. In the original series, it was you either basically saw a Klingon ship, this ship, or a Constitution class. I mean, or the shuttles. There wasn't a lot of other options. But this ship, the way they always confuse me is like Scotty said, nope, their power is simple impulse. But they had to have warp drive. They had to have warp drive. Otherwise, how the hell did they get it? Because simple impulse is like
they had to have warp.
Light speed. So how the hell did they get all the way from Romulus to the
Maybe they had them by
it's not a generation
ship.
So my thing, I think that was an error in writing that they didn't.
That
really
probably
realize.
was an error. It probably was. Jeff Rubel was saying the original bird of prey that became the warbird. Yeah, I'm gonna confess to you guys right off the bat, right here. A young little kid, Mary Beth, could not keep Romulan and Klingon ships straight because bird of prey and warbird to me is the exact same damn thing. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a bird. I don't know.
Well,
so
they did explain, and they even did it in TOS. They said because of this they couldn't reuse this model when they did Enterprise incident. Spock says something like, "Intelligence says that Romulans are now using Klingon design." That there was a
throwaway line.
Yeah, but they did it on purpose because they knew that people were going to notice that's a D7. That it's not, it's a Klingon ship.
Yeah, I know what a D7 is. See, yeah, D7 so they're basically
what they're saying is at some point in the TOS era of Star Trek that the Klingons and the Romulans had some kind of agreement that they traded
and shared,
and then there was obviously a falling out because by the time we get to TNG, we know that Worf is not a fan of Romulans. Romulans.
And that's actually kind of brilliant because that happens in real life. That happens on planet Earth. One country uses another country's design, and then we saw that again in Deep Space Nine because when the when the Starfleet and the Bajoran took over a Cardassian Tarak Nor, whatever the heck the name of Deep Space Nine was before it was Deep Space Nine. So yeah,
I think it's an Enterprise. It's in the Enterprise incident, which Spock clearly says. He goes, "Intelligence is something." He says, "Now Romulans now using Klingon design."
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's confusion and little
retconning the fusion. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how. But even as a kid, I didn't think it made sense.
In my defense, I was like 8 or 9 or 10. I
remember watching it and go, "Well, that doesn't make any sense if it's simple impulse. How the hell did it get all the way across the
You guys made it very clear the impulse was the slow version.
Because they even kind of implied that 100 years before, remember there was the Romulan War with Earth that's what it was. It was no visuals and it was impulse, slow kind of. But again, that doesn't jive with. You need at least faster than light travel to have this kind of interaction.
The other thing about Romulan and I guess Klingon ships is now you see them, now you don't.
Yeah, which is the cloaking device and the plasma weapon, which we never ever saw again. That the original from the Balance of Terror, and I suspect we didn't realize because I think the Romulans realized that it had the fatal flaw. I don't think they realized that the Starfleet ships were as fast as they were that they could outrun it essentially.
Yeah,
and that it could be detonated before it hit. Well, if you can detonate it before it even hits, and it's so big that it doesn't look like it was very hard to hit, it kind of becomes it's a great weapon if you can get it to hit its target.
If you can get it, yeah. Nick is saying he likes the Deuteretics class. Yeah, you know what? Stay tuned.
And that's the TNG one.
Stay tuned. That's coming.
The TNG one.
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh,
the Klingon. That's the Klingon.
Fan of that design.
That's the one that wears a hat. I'm pretty sure.
Wears a hat?
It's a ball. It's like a ball, and it's got this.
That's Klingon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
D7.
saying.
That's the
That's what I'm
D7.
telling Nick. Stay tuned. We're gonna do one here soon.
Are we? I don't think that's
Aren't
in
we?
our list.
Don't you have a Klingon ship on this list?
No, well, yeah, but not the one you're thinking of. Anyway,
No,
moving
not
on.
the one I'm thinking of.
Just showing, just giving away all the things. But since you
Oh, I'm
mentioned
sorry.
it,
I'm
the
sorry.
Klingon bird of prey.
The
That-
Klingon. Ooh, these were the old shit ships. When these suckers showed up, you all
Yeah,
went, "Oh,
they were
shit."
small. The crew was not many. This is of course one from we saw this. The cool thing about this design is it went
A
from
flying turtle.
original series movies into TNG and held pretty much unchanged. So, and of course it had the best ship explosion, which we originally saw in Undiscovered Country, and then was reused in Generations, the same exploding ship. But yeah, they were tough little, almost scout class, because they only had a complement of what, about 12 to 24 crew. I think it was a pretty small crew. And then of course we see this, of course it's also the Bounty, you remember from Star Trek 4. It was that, remember, they renamed it the Bounty because of mutiny. They had the mutiny against the Starfleet to go rescue Spock and from the Genesis planet. And of course this was Krug's ship, or he had one like it, I should say. And we have had enough of you.
Yeah. I gotta say, this design is fabulous. Look at the way the two wings kind of slope down, and then they've got the guns. It's like, if you guys ever seen shots of birds, like eagles, birds of birds of prey, real birds of prey.
It does have more of a
do that with their wings.
Yeah. And this is why I like this ship over the TNG version of the Romulan Warbird. I thought this one does look more avian-like.
Yeah.
And I loved when it lands, those wings fold, they go up.
Yeah.
Like gull wings. And
everybody, don't forget where we parked.
And it lands, and I think it looks brilliant landing like that with the wings coming up out of the way to basically, I guess they double as nacelles and guns, clearly.
Yeah. This was a great pick, Rizzo. I did pick the D7, but this is a badass ship, I gotta tell you.
The D7's a good one, and I really, it was kind of between this, but I think as Klingon vessels, if you had to pick one, this one's cooler than the D7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just always liked it. I like the way they always shot it, the way it flew more like a fighter than a capital ship.
It did. It had maneuverability.
Had more maneuverability. When you saw that nose glowing, you know something bad was about to happen.
Yes.
So, and then the bridging on this one was really cool too. It was always dark. All the,
it's kind of dark and crowded.
Because we never saw a bridge on a Klingon ship in the original series. We saw Romulan, but we never saw the bridge.
I've seen one on the screen, but I don't know.
You've seen the ship on the screen, but you've never seen the bridge.
Hmm.
We never seen the Klingons on the bridge. So this one, of course, is one of the first bridges that we saw on the Klingons, and yeah, we did see it in the motion picture. There was the opening scene that was Mark Leonard as the Klingon there, where he gets sucked up by V'ger. So anyway, moving on. Is it really already 7:50? We got to.
It is almost 7. So
I thought we were going to run short, and we're running on. All right, number 2, because before we get to number 1, we have honorable mentions.
Some honorable mentions.
Number 2. This is another one of our faves. The USS Stargate. This is another John Eves design. This is the Picard version of Stargazer, not the one from TNG, which I thought was kind of lame-o. This one was brilliant. The bridge on this one is brilliant. It is a Sagan-class starship, which is kind of neat because after
nice nod to
Carl Sagan, nice nod to Carl Sagan.
Look at his profile, though.
And it's just, it looks powerful. It looks fast.
It looks fast. 4 nacelles. It can go 4 times as fast.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way, but you can only go. Well, we all know that warp 9.9 is their absolute limit, unless you want to get turned into a lizard. So,
yeah.
So the Stargazer, brilliant design, brilliant bridge. One of the best things out of Star Trek Picard for sure.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen more of it. Yeah, I don't know. I like this ship. Yeah, and it was Picard's first ship because that was the original Stargazer. But yeah, I like this one. So we won't spend a lot of time on it because we've had a bunch of. honorable mentions. So we're gonna do honorable mentions
Yeah,
before we
Nick,
get to
it does look like a pizza cutter, though. It does.
Oh, so does the Enterprise, I guess. So no,
All right,
I think
what are our honorable mentions?
Discovery looks way more like a pizza cutter than this one does. So that's my opinion.
Because Discovery spins. All right, what are our honorable
Our
mentions?
honorable mention. We'll start with where is it? Oh, okay. I gotta go. That's right. I gotta go over here. I'm gonna take this one down. I have to switch the way I do this because I could only allow so many slides. This dumb thing. So hang on, folks. And it is the Phoenix. Again, another John Eves design. You can see a Phoenix theory here, but I love this one because this, of course, was from First Contact, Next Gen movie. I love the fact that they took a Titan missile,
yeah,
and converted it into the first warp ship. I
And
love
built
that
on
idea.
nacelles,
I thought
yeah.
it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I love the way the nacelles kind of come out like
Folded
almost
out,
like
yeah.
the solar panels do on a modern
It does.
spacecraft where they launch and then the thing kind of unfolds and becomes this larger ship. And it was a great scene when he first goes into warp, but he's like, holy,
And they play Steppenwolf, yeah.
and they play Steppenwolf. So yeah, I think I just love this. I thought this was a great for an honorable mention. So that's
yeah, great choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
the
Fez,
very first time we do warp.
Yeah. So the next one, and you guys could probably already see these already. So is our Borg cube. Not the most brilliant design, but terrifying in its own right. When you saw this on screen,
yes.
When you saw this on screen, you knew there was going to be a problem. Eventually, like all the Star Trek baddies, they end up kind of emasculating them and taking away any of their really fear. But I guess they have to beat them eventually, right? So,
I mean, yeah, the design is as logical as it can be. That what do they need? They don't need. They're in space, so it's not like they need aerodynamics or sleek design. They don't care. So
no, that's what the point was. Is that they were the most, the least in their mind, the most efficient design of the ship because they didn't care about aesthetics.
Some structure for them in that thing. So yeah.
All right, coming up next is V'ger, and this is, of course, is the remastered version of V'ger because we didn't really get to see this in the original in Star Trek.
With that noise it makes.
Again, I thought this was a really cool ship when you get to actually see it, and it's a scope and its size, and of course, it's one of our first space probes that have gone bad. So we have a kind of a recurring theme on that one in Star Trek.
Someday if we go to Mars, we're going to meet like the Sojourner and it's going to turn bad.
Yeah, or something. The Voyager 1 or 2 is going to come back in this chip. So anyway, so the next one is originally we had decided on the Titan from Picard. But you know what? I'm calling an audible. And I'm calling Titan from Lower Decks.
Oh, this would have been Frakes' ship.
This would have been Frakes' ship, and I think it's cooler. And I don't
Jazz playing throughout the hallways.
In the warp of 5, 6, 7, 8.
In the warp of 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
No, I did this. I do like. Don't get me wrong. The Titan from Picard.
Liam Shaw's Titan. Thank you for walking away from a circular saucer section.
I will give him that. But what I don't like is that they took the name off it and made it Enterprise.
The Enterprise, yeah.
I've already said my piece about that it's bad luck and a bad idea. So
I do love Liam Shaw though. So
yeah. So anyway, all right. Now, drum roll. Our number one, at least our number one pick is the pluckiest little ship in Starfleet. The USS Defiant is number one.
Completely agree with this for number one.
Yes. I love the Defiant. I love the design. I love the fact they got away from a Starfleet typical design with hanging nacelles and things. And this is a gun with engines.
Yes. And they introduced it to us. This is a flying gun. And we're like, yes, we're on the offense.
Yeah, we're on the offense. We built something that's designed just to kick ass.
Yes.
And I just love it. Yet it just had so much character to it. And when you see it fight, even I think was this at Wolf 3? No, this wasn't at Wolf 359 because we hadn't gotten there yet. But when you do see it in battle, when you do see it in battle, it is just.
Was it Wolf 359?
No, it wasn't
they designed it in retaliation to the Borg.
This was built actually. Originally, it was supposed to be a Borg anti-Borg ship, but they realized they needed it for and it has a cloaking
For that-
device, which is again a no-no for Starfleet. This is the only Starfleet ship with a cloaking device.
Yes,
So-
it does have a cloaking device.
So that
A
was
ill-gotten, if I remember correctly, an ill-gotten cloaking device.
Well, they got away with using it, at least in their own. The way they justified it because of the Romulan Accord that they had was that it was only going to be used in the Gamma Quadrant, so that because they figured the Romulans are over there. So, but
and
yeah,
side note, it kind of became Worf's home for a while. Wasn't he actually living on the Defiant for a while?
Yeah, well, he eventually became kind of command. It was his ship. Yeah,
it was his ship. The Defiant was developed in 2366, shortly after the Battle of Wolf 359 and the first contact with the Borg. So it was developed. It was made specifically. It was a flying gun, and it was made specifically, I think, to
fight the Borg. But they brought it into service for the Jem'Hadar
or the Cassian.
So
whoever we're
fighting. Saying, thank God, number one was an Oberth class. What, you don't like the Grissom? Come on now. That was from Star Trek 3. Doesn't like Oberth class. So that was our top 10 ships with honorable mentions. Yeah, I don't know. You guys obviously can agree or disagree. That's totally cool.
Looks like a handheld shaver. Yeah, I
guess. We purposely took Enterprises out of here because I think half of these would have been Enterprises.
I had the D on my list, and
you should have had the D on there. I said no Enterprises. I would have had NX on it, and I would have had 1701 on it. So little
didn't do too well on First Contact. Tough little ship, yeah.
He said tough. That Worf's little. So, all right, guys, that wraps this episode up. Feel free to continue. So what do we got? So next week, I think I'm going to just acquiesce at this point.
Oh, sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bend your arm. I'm sorry.
I didn't have another idea, so why not? We're going to do Gattaca, which is one Mary Beth has wanted to do.
I've asked for Gattaca.
She's asked for Gattaca, so
if y'all hate it, it's my fault. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to be fair here and let you pick some stuff. It's not all just my decisions.
Thanks.
So
yes, too. You picked.
I've never seen it, so it's going to be a make me watch.
Vulcan ship in the
I hope Mary Beth's ready to.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to hear your reaction to this.
This is an older movie. It's from the late 90s, right? So
the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how it holds up.
Bruce is excited. Bruce gave it 4 exclamation points.
Yeah, that's a lot of that's probably an excessive amount of exclamation points, Bruce.
He takes after me. I've taught him well. Yeah. I'm the exclamation point.
That's true. You do like it. So that's what we got. And then but our next top 10 is going to, because it's February. You guys see where we're going to go with this.
Valentine.
We're going to go with top 10 love interest episodes of Star Trek. So,
or maybe just top 10 love interests. I don't know which.
Well, I think we need to do them. There's too many.
Does it have to be an episode? Some of these love interests span several episodes.
Well, you're talking about like Worf and Jadzia that had like a whole thing. But I think you could pick out one out of them that out of that just for that.
Significant. All right.
So,
okay.
I think we need to do it by episode rather than just by relationship.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the episode is significant to the relationship. I think it's you have to kind of put it in context.
I will do my best to just pick an episode, but it's gonna be a little hard.
Across the entire universe of Star Trek. We don't really include JJ Trek movies in
not really.
So
I might do a little disco though.
And then so that's what we got coming up next few weeks. And then you have your dentist thing. So
I'll just tell people, I don't mind telling you, I'm having a wisdom tooth out, so I'm gonna skip a week because I'm annoyed.
We'll probably take really off, which is the 19th. So what has Roy got going on?
Roy is doing on Friday, January 31st at 7 p.m. He's doing a 1951 movie called When Worlds Collide. I have a vague memory of this. This is another one of those classic 50s sci-fi shows.
I know that
and
one. Yep.
Phil, congratulations, Captain Phil. Starting next month, Captain Phil's Planet is now a weekly show every Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WUSB Stony Brook. He was, if you guys remember, he was every other week. So now he has his very own time slot. Use it as, the be wise in how you use that
Well,
time.
he's got the hot air for it. So
He's got the no, don't say that. And he does still have Friday Night Freeform. So Phil is going to be on the air.
I give him credit. That's a lot to do. He does 2 hours on Thursday and then the late night.
And then late night on Fridays.
We've done the late night.
With great radio power comes great radio responsibility.
It's a lot of time to be talking.
It's a lot of time to be talking, which is why he has us on sometimes. It's just
that's why he does have us on. So they're usually fun though.
Yes, it's always fun. Always fun to go on WUSB.
So so I guess that's it. We're caught up.
And we're only 5 minutes late tonight. Yay.
Yeah. I honestly thought we were gonna go through faster, honestly. So that's why I put so many honorable.
Well, I jibber jabbered with the news for a while there, so
that's all right. All right. Until next week, you guys, as usual, live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and don't watch Section 31.
Don't watch Section 31 and tell me who wants to come on and do Gattaca with us.
If you're a Gattaca fan, let her know.
Which I had like 3 or 4 yays in the comments for Gattaca.
We'll see. Good night, folks. See ya.